Regarding Sinya, Buddha asked the five bhikkhus, Sinya Nityava Anityavadi, is perception permanent or impermanent? Buddha asked. So when you see, you hear, you smell, you taste, you touch, and you know, you recognize and you remember. You recognize and remember visible object. You recognize and remember sound. You recognize and you remember smell. You recognize and remember taste. You recognize and remember touch. And you recognize and you remember the thought. So these recognizing and remembering the objects is Sinya. So it is Sinya remembers object you have seen before. So Sinya is important in studying. So when you see or you hear only once, you remember there is good Sinya, good perception. So this retentiveness is wrongly taken to be everlasting, to be good, and to be safe. So from the angle of good aspects, you recognize and you remember things and objects is very useful. You have photographic memory. So retentive memory, remembering facts and retaining what you have acquired from learning the mundane and supramundane knowledge is a good function of perception. So that Sinya is beneficial and helpful. But from bad aspects of Sinya, mental retention or recalling to mind sad stories, sorrowful, disgusting, horrible things are distress. So Sinya is oppressing. Some suffers from haunting memories of the departed loved ones. Sons or daughters or husbands or wife pass away, or financial calamities. When they encountered, they remembered. So these lingering memories bring constant sorrow and fear. Only when these memories fade away, one is relieved from the suffering. So Sinya, it is manifested in recognition and remembering, is truly oppressing. So long as Sinya is bringing back memories of bereavements and financial calamities, so long sorrow and lamentation will cause intense suffering. So this is how Sinya, perception, oppressed by recalling to mind the sad experience of the past. Sinya cannot be manipulated as we wish. We want to remember, we want to recall only those experiences which are beneficial and profitable. We don't want to remember, we don't want to recall suppressing memories which will cause distress and suffering. But we cannot manipulate Sinya. So Sinya is unmanageable, it is ungovernable, it is uncontrollable. And because it is unmanageable, it is ungovernable, Sinya is not safe. Sinya is not a living entity. Sinya is mere insubstantiality. It is dependent on condition and circumstances. But people in general, when they recall past experiences, they think that there are those which are retained in memory, and they conclude that it is I who have stored these experiences in mind. It is I who recall them. They think the same I who has stored them up, has also brought them back to mind now. They conclude in this way. So they cling to the belief, so there is only one individual, there is self, who stores up and recalls past experiences. So they wrongly believe. Why this wrong belief arises? Because of lack of heedful noting at the moment of seeing, hearing, etc. And because they do not know the real nature of phenomena by practicing meditation. So when you see the constant arising and disappearing of phenomena of seeing, hearing, etc., you realize that Sanya is also a natural phenomenon of constant arising and disappearing. Yes, Sanya is impermanent. And why people recollect the things which were recognized and known in the previous time? Why they recognize? The retentivity, the retentive power of preceding Sanya is handed on, passed on to the succeeding Sanya. As this retentive power increase on, and it is inherited by the succeeding generation of Sanya. Some people, they have faculty to recall past life. That is why, because the perception of the life continuum, we call Bhavan's Sanya, perception of life continuum is handed on to the perception of death consciousness of the past life. And then it ceases and arises again, and the Sanya is handed on the relinquishing consciousness, that is Patisandhi Sanya, and it ceases, and then it is handed on perception of life continuum of the present life. So the Sanya is handed on and passed on one after another, so the Sanya can recall the past life. It is because of this handing over of retentive power by the previous Sanya to the succeeding Sanya that we can recollect both pleasant and unpleasant Sanya, or wholesome and unwholesome Sanya. Sometimes you do not think about them. The experience of days gone by, these memories resurface. So yogi are practicing meditation. While engaged in the Satipatthana meditation, when concentration gets strengthened, they may recall episodes that had happened earlier in his life or in childhood. So all episodes resurface. When these episodes resurface or appear, yogi have to note and discard. Sometimes yogi remorseful over past mistake, and he remorseful the actions he have done wrong in the past, so that may lead to worry and restlessness in the practice. Worry, kokocha, is a form of mental hindrances. When worry arises, it should be discarded. You immediately note it. Worry and restlessness may become a great hindrance. It deters progress in the development of concentration and vipassana insight knowledge. So Sinya perception recalls past incidents. It produces worry and regret. So Sinya is oppressing. For this reason, Buddha said, Sinya anatta, Sinya is not safe. So there may be question, Sinya, perception and sati, remember. So what is the difference between Sinya and sati? The difference between perception at the moment of contact and heedful noting at the moment of occurrence according to Satipatthana. Yes, it is big difference between the two, Sinya and Sati. Sinya and Sati are diametrically opposed to each other in purpose of objective. Sinya perceive objects. When you see, when you hear, you retain everything in memory so that it may be recalled. Sinya may take in the form, it may take in the shape or condition of the object you observe. How about sati? How sati remember? Sati remembers, sati is taking note the presently arising mind and matter so as to realize the natural characteristics and the impermanent nature, unsatisfactory nature and insubstantial nature. So Sinya and Sati are diametrically opposed to each other. Sinya, retentiveness, is wrongly taken to be everlasting, but it is not so. Sinya, after seeing, you recognize and you perceive, and then vanish. And what are recognized later is another Sinya. And also what you hear and what you remember now is the first Sinya, and it's vanished away, followed by what is heard and recognized later is another one. So when yogi taking note of everything, when he see, hear, smell, taste, he perceives that seeing and recognizing, hearing and recognizing, two processes vanish together. When yogi know this, yogi conclude, Sinya is also impermanent. So the five bhikkhus also knowing this, and when Buddha asks whether Sinya is permanent or impermanent, so they replied, impermanent Bhante. Because when Buddha was giving the talk, Anatta Lakkhana Sutta, they pay attention to the Sinya. When they hear, when they recognize, the Sinya appear and disappear, and another Sinya appear and disappear, they realized Sinya is vanishing rapidly. Then Buddha asks again, that Sinya which is impermanent, is the suffering or happiness? So the five bhikkhus answer, that Sinya is suffering Bhante. And Buddha asks, now that Sinya which is impermanent, unsatisfactory and subject to change, is it proper to regard the Sinya as this is mine, this is me, this is myself? So the five bhikkhus answer, not proper Bhante. So these are the same types of question and answer. It is necessary to know only how Sinya is attached to craving, conceit and wrong view. Generally, people who cannot practice meditation, who cannot contemplate the mind and matter, they are pleased with Sinya. They cling to Sinya, it as, oh, this is mine. So they think I have better retentive memory than others, then he proud of the senior. So there is clinging by conceit. There is me. And he thinks also that he recognize, he remember every act of seeing, hearing. So that is utter clinging to senior. This is myself. Yes, after you see, you hear, and senior can retain the objects, not to forget it. But actually, senior perception is impermanent because it arises and vanishes instantly. Now, yogi is watching all the time. Whatever you see, you hear, and you can capture the senior. You may know senior is impermanent because it is seen arising and vanishing instantly. Senior is unpleasurable suffering because it is impermanent, and you know senior may retain memories of terrible things. So senior is oppressing and suffering. As senior does not exist in one form, but keeps on changing, so senior is after all not desirable, nothing to take pride in as everlasting, nothing to cling to as a living entity. So the 5 bhikkhus were all Sotapanna. They are watching senior when Buddha was giving the talk, and they said it was not proper to regard senior as this is my, this is me, this is myself. So these question and answer between Buddha and the 5 bhikkhus, we have to recite. So please open your book, Retreat Manual, page 73, paragraph 8. Page 73. So follow my recitation first, and we will recite together later. Sinya Nijawa Anijawadi.
Sanya Nijawa Anijawati.
Anija Bande.
Anicca Bante.
Yampana Nijam.
Yampana Niccam.
Dukkha Vatam Sukham Vati.
Dukkham Vatam Sukham Vati.
Dukkham Bande.
Dukkham Bante.
Yampana Nijam.
Yampana Niccam.
Dukkham.
Dukkham.
Viparinama Dhammam.
Viparinama Dhammam.
Kalanutam.
Kalam Nutam.
Samanupasito.
Samanupasito.
Itamama.
Itamama.
Isohamasmi.
Isohamasmi.
Isome attati.
Isome attati.
No hitam bande.
No etam bante.
We have to recite together. Sinya Nijawa Anijawati. Anija Bande. Yampana Nijam. Dukkham Vatam Sukham Vati. Dukkham Bande. Yampana Nijam. Dukkham Viparinama Dhammam. Kalanutam. Samanupasito. Itamama. Isohamasmi. Isome attati. No hetam bande. English translation, follow my recitation. Bhikkhus, what do you think?
What do you think?
Is perception permanent or impermanent?
Is perception permanent or impermanent?
Impermanent Venerable Sir.
Impermanent Venerable Sir.
That which is impermanent.
That which is impermanent.
It is unsatisfactory or satisfactory?
Is it unsatisfactory or satisfactory?
Unsatisfactory, Venerable Sir.
Unsatisfactory, Venerable Sir.
That which is impermanent.
That which is impermanent.
Unsatisfactory.
Unsatisfactory.
And subject to change.
And subject to change.
Should it be viewed correctly thus?
Should it be viewed correctly thus?
This is mine.
This is mine.
This is me.
This is me.
This is myself.
This is myself.
No, Venerable Sir.
No, Venerable Sir.
So we have to stop our discourse for today by practicing Satipatthana Vipassana meditation, by observing every phenomena occurring at the six senses, by practicing sitting, walking, standing, and all daily activities continuously and meticulously. May all practitioners realize the real peace in the very near future.
Sadhu, sadhu.